Right, I'm actually going to start with the delete because we had a lot of, or at least I did, I had a lot of products in my array. So I'm going to start with the delete one, and the next one will be the edit or the add one. So I'm going to go, I'm in the use products again TS file, and I'm going to do the delete product, so without an S here, and I'm going to finish this one here. So delete product equal an async, because we use an asynchronous calls here. We are passing through the ID, and it is a string that comes from this. And again, we don't return anything, so in TypeScript that will cause it to be a void. And since we're using JSON and we're using these promises online, that's why we have to store in here. If you don't add this, it will probably still work. TypeScript should infer it by itself as well, but declaring it is always a nice thing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're creating our try and we're creating our catch. And let's just finish the catch because that's the easy one. And we'll, if we have an error inside this one, I'll zoom again a bit. So if we have an error, we just wanted to print out the error for us, value. And again, this is a copy paste from the other one. So you already have this. You can just go copy it if you're really lazy. So catch the error, print it out so we can see what the issue is. Inside the try, and this is where we'll create our logic if something happens. First off, we need to make sure that we have access to our token, which when we log in, not this one, in the user one. So when we go here, and I'm going to minimize this one. So whenever we create or we log in, we get, we store the user, the token from it, right? So here, this is needed to actually delete things. So if I go back here and I go to Swagger and I can see I'm on the online one, if I want to do a delete, you can see there's a log over here. That means that I need to be authorized to delete things. So I can't, and same with put, post and put if you want to edit something, and get is just open. But for those things we need to actually be logged in to do any changes for that. So we need to access this. So where did I go for my delete? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a const called token. And we're going to use local storage because that's where we saved it when we log in. And it is not called token, it is called ls token. So when we log in, we have the token stored, which we did in the previous two videos. And before we go any further, we might as well do a check here. So to check to see if we do not, so remember the exclamation mark here, if we do not have a token, just immediately throw an error and stop the function. No point in going forward. So check to see if you have a token. If you do, continue. If you don't, stop whatever you're doing. We can add in a little console log here to make sure that ID test or something like this, and just pass through the ID so we can make sure that the ID we have up here is the correct one. So does this match with the ID we get from Mongo? So the ID of the product we're trying to delete, we can just test it quickly here. Then we'll do our response, and I'm gonna paste this in because there's a lot of code here. Not a lot of code, but there's a string here that I haven't copied in. So we have an await as before, and inside or after this await, we'll do a fetch, just as we had before. So go to a specific place. In this case, on render application. So we're on /API/product/ID, which seems to be correcto. So you can see it here. This is the one I'm trying to go to, right? So I want to delete it. So I have /products/curly brackets ID, curly brackets end. So this is why this is basically the same we have here, because that is the route that Søren set up for this specific thing to work. So depending on your route, of course, make sure you change this if you want to delete, add, put, and so on and so on. In here, as we did in the other one, we need to pass through the header. So tell the system what are we trying to do with method. And the one we want to use right now is delete. And remember to capitalize this. You have to capitalize this, otherwise, or uppercase it, or what you want to call it. Otherwise, it won't understand it correctly, because that's how it works. And you have to set this up in the backend as well if you don't have. Headers, curly bracket, and we just need to tell it what we're using here, and it's the auth token. oops, token, and it is attached to the one we get up here. So in this case, the long string we get from Mongo. Oh, I think I forgot yes, I forgot a closing tag here for the opening of the parentheses here. So this is the first part of it. Now we're going to do here we go. We're going to do another check. So first check is here. I'm gonna, oops, sorry about that. Space is here. So first of all, if we have a token, save it into our actual token variable here. If we do not have it, then stop what you're doing, throw an error. If we do have it, continue to this one. Connect to the API we have online, go through these steps. If this is okay, then we continue. If it's not okay, then stop and throw an error immediately. If there's no errors either in the response or the token, we will commit to grabbing the products array. And we're going to filter here because we need to make sure we only delete the one with the specific ID. So we can use filter, you can use find. Find will probably be better. Filter goes through everything. Find stops when you do only one, and then it doesn't go through it, but you can change that on. It's fine. I'm going to delete that one here. So it says products value filter, and then we basically have our iterative name. It goes into the object of the product and looks for ID, and it checks to make sure that the ID here is not the same. This will also re-render it whenever we delete something because of the generics we created when we stored it with the array. And the up here, use products, where did it go? So this one here, right? Generics from TypeScript. Again, if we had this attached to the products here, so semicolon and there's just typing the product's name, then it would not re-render without us having to actually refresh the page or do a watch or something like this. So more code, we don't like that. Anyways, back to this. So we'll do a console log, and yeah, sounds about right. Products deleted, and we are going to check for the ID of that one. And we have our catch, and let's click save. Let's see if we have before we do this, we may need to make sure that we export it. So this is our composable function file. So we need to export our delete product in this one, and then we need to also make sure we have it in our admin.vue. So scroll down. And here we need to import in delete products, like so. And then of course it's being marked because it's not used, but it's yellow, so that's good. We know now it's a function. So go to your edit just a little way up here, and you can see there's a lot of code that just popped up because of this. So I'm going to put it at the start here. So I'm going to attach I'm on a Mac now again, a click method here, or event. And I'm going to invoke the delete products. I'm going to do parentheses because I need to delete a specific item. So product dot ID. So if we did everything correctly, and we will go check in a moment, we should have the possibility to delete things. So let's first of all try to just delete without logging in. I'm just going to check. So is there anything local storage? I cannot see any tokens, so I'm not logged in, right? That's good. So I should not be allowed to delete stuff. So I'm just going to go down to Mr. Burns 2, delete, and nothing happens. Doesn't delete it. So I should have written an error message over here. But let's try to do auth. Let's log in with a user. And now we have a token. We can see application. We can see our ls token here has the new one. Let's go back to admin. Let's not do that. And let's go to console. Let's see if we actually can delete. So we have an issue, but we're actually getting a feedback here because we're logged in, and now we're allowed to do things, but we get a issue with our code. So the issue seems to be with the ID. So let's quickly check the code. Oops, that's not the right one. Here we go. So this one doesn't actually use correctly uses, so that's not the issue. So somewhere in here we have an ID. Actually, I'm going to figure this out, and then in the next we will create the solution for this.